All right. So I'm assuming. Do we wait? What the fuck? Where's James? What the hell? Are we live, pal? What the hell? All right, we're live. James is gone, guys. I promise you, James was here, but he got really depressed and he left. Life will do that. You see, we both had very existential filled days recently, and his went a little differently than mine. He threw up after riding roller coasters. I did not. So,
it wasn't the roller coaster.
Oh my God, we don't have time for that. We're going to talk about wrestling. Anyway, what's up, guys? Hi, hello. Hey, welcome to a Market Down production. We are here to talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen, another special episode of Dynamite after having 2 back-to-back weeks of Fyter Fest. We have Fight for the Fallen. There's a lot of alliteration going on, and it's a lot of special episodes, which I don't think they know what special means if you have a special episode every week, but whatever. That's not important. Anyway, my name is Shadow. I am joined by Chance, Big Bad Johnson, and of course, Sassy. So what I didn't think was going to end on a noteworthy note, I was so prepared to just start from the top on this show. We can't do that. We got to start from the fucking bottom. And by that, I mean the main event. But the main event was the returning back from concussion, back from the injury list, Bryan Danielson. It was Daniel versus Bryan in this match, just so you guys know. And it was fantastic to see Bryan back. I just had this warm feeling like, I'm so glad this is done and he's back. And we don't have to worry. We don't have to speculate. We don't have to wonder. He's in the ring, wasting no time, going right back to what he was doing before, which was wrestling younger guys to try to help get them over. And I guess he really, really did. I actually was starting to think that concussion might have had some side effects here because I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't know how much cocaine Tony Khan was on this week, but god damn, they went all out.
That's coming up. That's a month away. That's a month away.
Well, he already blew his load, so I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do there. But oh my god, I didn't see this ending coming. I don't want to gloss over the match because the match was fantastic.
It really was.
I'm still not I don't think Daniel Garcia should have been the main event, but considering how this match ended, it does make sense. So Eric, I understand you're upset that he was in the main event. I was too, and I still to a degree am, but if they had this match anywhere else on the show and this happened, I would have been livid as opposed to now where I have mixed emotions, because Daniel Garcia won. He made Bryan pass out in the sharpest of shooters, and it was genuinely shocking. The crowd did not know the match ended. It took them until the bell rung. When Bryan collapsed, they didn't notice. They were cheering him on because they thought he was about to make a comeback. I thought he was about to make a comeback. Even though I had this weird feeling in my gut that he might lose, but because this is a very Bryan thing. This isn't even original. He did this with the less drunk of the Usos. He came back from being gone for a while and lost immediately to Jey Uso. So this is a very Bryan thing. He likes putting people over, sometimes to his own detriment, but this was a big statement for Daniel Garcia. There's so much that could come from this. As much as I don't like Bryan losing ever, this time included, I can't say it's not interesting. So, Chad, how are you handling this? How are you toying with this?
I am feeling kind of the same as you. I did not expect Bryan to lose. I'm very upset that Bryan lost. I do, however, like Daniel Garcia, so I wasn't drained or anything. But I was ecstatic thinking Bryan's back. We're about to get some great matches. The match was great, as you said. The match was phenomenal. I can't fault the match at all. It's just the result. But I trust him. I think something will happen from this that'll be good enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is big. Garcia can hang his hat on this, his stupid fucking hat on this for a long time. And that's good. This was a star-making performance, and we'll see if this leads to anything substantial for him. I think this puts him above Sammy in the JAS. And that's gonna be a story I think they're gonna build to. It's gonna be a little bit more of a slow burn, but this put him on Sammy's level immediately, where he was way, way below Sammy. Like if Sammy's a pillar, which I barely think he is, then Garcia was a pillar light, like. Also, sorry everyone, I had my fan on for the first couple minutes and I just realized it, so the audio is not going to be great. But yeah, James, sassy as you were, how did you feel about this?
It was a roller coaster, because it's one of those things that the mark in me just wants to see Brian win. I'm happy he's back like everyone else is, and it's great. Like, I missed him. I genuinely missed him. So many of my guys have either been injured or arrested. It's been tough to be me in AEW. So I was so happy that he was back. I was excited when the announcement was made. I was excited when the match was made, because Bryan versus Garcia is a fun match. They've run it once already, but Garcia wasn't quite where he is on the card when that match happened. I don't even think the BCC was officially a thing yet. So it was exciting that this match was happening now. Of course, I'm disappointed Brian lost. I don't want to see my guy come back to lose, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't intrigued. That's kind of the big thing here. I'm intrigued because let's go with the alternative. If Brian wins, which was the expected, Brian wins, what from there? Okay, you have to build a story for him after there. And considering how many other members of the BCC are holding titles in either other companies or in AEW, they're all kind of tied to a story right now. Brian losing right off the bat sets him up for a story that he's probably going to come after every member of the JAS and set him up for a rematch with Garcia. It's unexpected, which, could be good, could be bad, but it's unexpected. And I'm now excited, beyond just being a Brian fan, I'm excited that he's got a journey ahead of him, especially because as much as I want him to go for a title, I don't know if that's in the cards right now. So this is something that feels worthwhile for him to pursue. A nice revenge story. Because he did get screwed. He was going to win this match, it looked like. That's really what it felt like. He had him set up, and then he got screwed by Hager. So it's not that he lost clean, which I think everyone would have been upset with. And Brian is 100% the giving type of guy, to the point that I think other wrestlers need to be like Brian. It is great that Brian is willing to take these losses for these kids and to help push them up, but it sucks that he's the only one who can do it. So it's going to get to a point where beating him doesn't really mean that much. We are not there right now. We are far from it. But we were
far, but yeah.
I think Bryan Danielson in AEW is far from it. I think Daniel Bryan in WWE, those losses at the end meant nothing.
He's lost like 4 matches already this year.
Who?
Hangman, Moxley, and then he was the guy that took the fall in the Anarchy in the Arena.
Oh shit!
But that's still like 4 losses. I know, especially given the time frame, feels like a lot, but
it's a lot in AEW.
Title match, and even the Moxley one, wasn't that like a bullshit finish, if I remember correctly? Like, it counts as an L, but it wasn't really like a legit loss, I thought.
Yeah, but he was coming off of a loss from Hangman. It's a loss followed by a loss.
Mm-hmm. And I do get that, but I still think, especially compared to other top guys, he's okay, especially because of the gravitas he brings and the intensity that the Bryan Danielson character in AEW has brought. So I don't know. I'm not worried about him right now as much as momentarily I'm disappointed he got the loss.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how I feel. Because I think you put it very well, and I'm not pushing back on it as much as it seems like. I just think he really shouldn't keep taking losses. I think he's kind of hit that point, because he hasn't had any big wins in AEW at all.
It's true.
He tied McKenny, which was, I think, arguably still the best match in the company's history. Maybe the only match better is obviously Osprey Cassidy, but one of those guys isn't even an
It's
AEW
fair.
guy. So
No, it's absolutely fair.
But I think he just needs a big, because he does have that gravitas to him. But like, if somehow you didn't watch him in WWE, but you only watched him in AEW, you wouldn't see it. You'd be like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He doesn't win the big one, and again, it's because, like I said earlier, like that's what he was doing in WWE. Like he lost to Jey Uso, he lost to The Fiend, he lost to Cesaro, like clean, like and that's great because Cesaro got a good 3-month run out of it. But like, I'm sick of Bryan being that guy, but that's just me. That's my bias for Bryan. So like, I agree. This is a great thing for Garcia. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I could simultaneously be a great thing for one guy and a bad thing for the other guy. That's kind of where I land on it. But match itself, fucking fantastic.
Yep.
It makes sense now while I was in the main event because, like I said, I was going to complain about that, but after like the ending and just how good the match was.
If Bryan had won, what would the main event have been? Or what should it have been?
The title match, even though we'll talk about that in a second, and I don't think that's a good main event either. But like,
yeah,
this could still be a main event. He just wins. It's a feel good moment because he's back from injury, and that's enough. AEW does that kind of thing where it's acceptable. But any other notes on this match before we move on? Chance, Stassi, anything?
I loved Bryan's intensity. It was so like. It's something that I don't think we see enough from a lot of the AEW guys. Like Bryan just not even waiting for the bell to hit that corner kick, that corner drop kick. It was awesome. And I know you do get those explosive starts in both companies and a lot of companies, but it was just that I'm here to beat you. Not that I'm here to hit you. I'm here to beat you. And I think Bryan is one of the best at that. And I think that was just really good. And the blood, it's Bryan with blood is scary looking and it's cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Sean can start. Anything else you guys want to add? Chance, do you guys know what your names are from?
Not at all.
Right,
what was your name? That would help.
Shadow.
Homeward Bound.
Yep, there we go. Look at that. Chance for the win. All right. Well, after that, I mean, not after that, but way before that, in the beginning of the show, we started off this very super special, awesome event with a world title match between Mox and Roosh. I will summarize this as best as I can. Why was this match happening? Who really cares? And like, James, look, I hope you stretched before this because I know you're about to bend over backwards, defending this. But I will say personally, because the match wasn't bad. Like, I'm making it sound like this match was bad. The match was good. I just could not get into it at all because there's just no feasible way that Mox was going to lose. And I couldn't even get into the near falls. Like, this was one of those matches where there was just no believable near falls. And I don't think anyone looked better coming out of it. No one looked worse, but this did very little for me. So, Sassy, if you want to dispute that, you can. But before we just talk about the match, because the match was, again, whatever, a filler title defense. It was just padding Moxley's numbers so we could have a shit ton of title defenses by the time Punk gets back. The really important part of this, when my tone's about to change drastically talking about this, was that, and I have a rubber duck in my hand. I won this at Playland yesterday. But after the match, Chris Jericho's music hits. He comes out. He's looking fucking destroyed and beat up. It was fantastic. He's all fucked up from, the barbed wire almost everywhere match last week. Which feels like a lifetime ago already, but it was only last week. And he cuts a promo and he says a lot of stuff, but then he gives the mic to Anna Jay, and Anna calls herself Anna Jas. And you know what? That's all the explanation I needed. I'm okay with this now. So that's good. And then Jericho starts talking again, and he finally, after 2 fucking years, is going back for the title. And this, all the nothingness I felt about the match preceding before this is completely gone because I am pumped for this. And I know it's a Jericho match, so really how great is it going to be? But oh my God, this feels like such a big deal. This feels so much more important than every match that's happened since Punk got injured. Like every match in the tournament, none of it feels as big as this match because it's fucking Chris Jericho, who never got a rematch, versus the guy who took the title off of him. And that's fantastic. I think, because I believe you said this, Sassy, that we should have gotten Hangman versus Jericho. And I wanted that too. Like, that was actually a title defense I would have really liked for Hangman. But him and Mox too, I'm so pumped about this. And, because do I believe Jericho's going to win? No. But are there going to be fans who believe it? Yes. And is it going to feel special? Yes. Are the promos going to be great? Yes, because they already were great. We're one night into this, and it's already great. Mox cut a promo out of breath after the match, said he wanted the old Jericho, not this sports entertainer bullshit Jericho. And that's not anything new, but Mox is really good at cutting promos, so you get into it. And Jericho's really good at receiving promos, because that's a talent all in and all of itself.
It's true.
You got to be able to receive a promo from someone. You got to be an active listener. You got to have facial expressions, and Jericho has it. I'm so excited for this. This is way, way better than what I feel like last week was gone. I mean, Eddie feels like he's stepped down a little bit, but that's okay. This is great. Sassy, do you want to defend this match? You just want to talk about the angle afterwards?
No, I do want to get into the match a little bit, but I let me preface, I do not really like Roosh. I followed him from his Ring of Honor days. I think, I don't want to say he's overrated, because I think he does some really good stuff in the ring. And I think this was a good match. Like, I agree with what you said. I think this was a good match. I was utterly disgusted when he licked the blood off of Moxley's head. It showed a lot of character. And truth be told, I'm teeing this one up for you. I think he showed a lot more character in AEW than Andrade ever did outside of Darby and Sting. And that's on that joke. But that said, like, there are lots of things about Roosh I don't like. Like, he is terrible at selling. He is not great at making his opponent look good. And I am not one to body shame, but dude, just take like a wet rag to your back. Like, that back knee was rough. Like, it always is. But all that aside, I know there was a lot of criticism. There was a lot of questions. Why is this guy getting a title shot? He's been in AEW for a minute, and what has he done? Truth is, it's a criticism that I think a lot of people are fairly throwing at AEW. You need to watch a lot of product to understand what's going on Dynamite. You need to watch what's going on in Ring of Honor. You need to watch what's going on the 5 different YouTube shows that they've got, whether it's wrestling or a vlog. You need to really be paying attention to the entire AEW galaxy, as D'Angelo Parker calls it. But it's a lot. And if you miss something, you will be confused. And I don't know. I like the fact that if you're watching something, you get rewarded for it. I do appreciate that. But they need to do a better job of promoting these things, so by the time you get to Dynamite, you're not confused.
I think they need to. It's almost like Marvel. Like, Marvel puts out like way too much content. Sorry to Marvel fanboys, and I don't even consider you guys Marvel fanboys. I consider
I'm a DC fanboy.
Beneath, but like, it's not all good what they put out, and it's too much. And you guys, not you guys specifically, but you guys freaking out over it, are part of a weird problem that we have nowadays. But see, the way I enjoy Marvel movies is I just watch the ones I want to see, and I don't watch the rest. And even though they're filled with references and details and Easter eggs to other ones, Marvel actually does a really good job of like giving you exposition without you having to have seen all these other. I didn't see
catching
Thor
you
1
up.
or 2, and I saw Ragnarok, and I had no problem understanding what was going on. Like I didn't see any Captain America movie before Civil War.
That's
no
a
problem
mistake.
watching
That Winter Soldier is the best MCU movie, I think, but we're gonna move past
sure
that.
it is. I'm sure it is. I
It
just
is
don't care
actually
about.
good. The
I don't
first one
care
was
about Captain
trash.
John Cena. Like I just don't like
Huh.
the rest. But point is, I think Marvel does. That's one of the things they do well, whereas I think AEW doesn't do it so well. Yeah, that's all I was gonna say is they need to, take a little bit more of the Marvel approach to it. But anyway,
Yeah.
James, you were about to say about the rest of this match and the segment.
But just to finish that thought off, I do think that this match benefited. You said you don't think anyone came out better after this match. And for that, I do have to disagree slightly. I do think as someone who said I didn't like Roosh, and I don't really like Roosh, I was more impressed with him in this match than I have been with him in a long time. I think he showed a lot of personality, and he showed why he belongs here. And just to finish again, like to go back, he had this title match because he's had 10 straight wins against some top competition in various companies. So we could debate whether or not that's good for AEW's ranking system, but when it comes to the interim championship, I am way more forgiving. Because as far as I'm concerned, the interim championship is a free-for-all. We've had Brody King get a title shot. We've Takeshita had a title shot. As considering this isn't the official championship, I am a lot more open to wild card title matches. And I think this definitely felt like it was a part of that. After the match with the segment, it's really rough to see Anna Jay not wearing purple, but she was getting a little stale with the Dark Order, and that's fine. And I'm happy that she's going to be in a more prominent situation now. Hopefully, she wasn't really wrestling on Dynamite, but hopefully she doesn't stop wrestling on Dark the way Ty did.
Can I just interject with a quick question? Can bread get stale if it doesn't exist? If it's not there, can it get stale?
It's there. It's on one of the 5 different shows that we're supposed to watch. That's the problem. I think Dark Order is very great on BTE. I think they're good when they get their wins on Dark, but that's about all they get. And it sucks because I love Dark Order. We all love Dark Order, but we'll talk about them later. There was a segment, but I enjoyed this bit. I'm very hyped for this rematch just because we never got it, and it's about time that we got it. They're 2 big personalities to just keep away for too long without it feeling forced. And, it feels natural following the fight between the BCC and the JAS. So I don't foresee a Jericho win. I don't, nor do I want a Jericho win. But again, we're going to see a lot of title defenses for Moxley before Punk gets back. And I think that's really good. And, we have someone who thinks Punk will be back for that fight. Like after the match, we're going to see Punk make his return. I don't know if that's the case, but it's starting to feel like that makes sense. And I'm all for it. I miss Punk. I am ready to unify those titles, and somehow Sammy Guevara will be holding 5 belts at once. Who knows? But I am very ready to see what's next. And they've done a great job of keeping me invested throughout this time.
Absolutely. What's up, Nas? Yeah, we don't watch Dark or Elevation because you know what? The matches there aren't even that good. They're like enhancement matches. They're like 5 minutes long and don't really matter. But anyway, yeah. So, Chance, I just gonna take a wild guess that you felt very similarly to us about all of this. So, in that case, how about those Mets, man? They swept the Yankees in a 2-game set because we are the superior New York team, and we are the good guys, and we beat the bad guys because sometimes life is like a movie. Or you can talk about the match, I guess, and we'll talk about the Mets and Yankees a little bit later.
All right. So I do agree with you guys mostly, but I did, like James said, I guess, or Sassy, sorry. As Sassy said, I did take a step back and give them guys just a little slack, only because, of course, everyone knows I have WWE brain, and I've never seen. Okay, so today, the keyword is interim. I think we put a lot of stock in the participants and the contenders who are fighting Mox or whatever lately. But again, the keyword is interim. With that being said, it makes it, I don't want to say less important, but I think we all know that if it weren't an interim title opportunity, then it would be treated differently. With that being said, I'm with the not nobodies, but talent enhancers and random contenders. I know you guys said we have to watch the other shows to realize who the hell Roosh is. I'm not fond of Roosh, so I did not want him in this, like, to have this match. However, the match was good, and again, I'm fine with random title shots as well, as long as it's interim. I mean, we all knew Mox was going to win. Now for the exciting part.
Oh, yeah.
Because, whatever. The segment afterwards, I must say, everybody, I have to preface this. I did not see Mox Jericho the first time.
Mm.
I went back to it and watched the match, just to research my research, but I didn't see it the first time. So this time I'm all in. I'm super excited. Anyone can say whatever they want about Jericho, but he delivers, even if it's too late or annoying or retro or whatever we think it is. He always delivers. We know Mox with the promos. I'm super excited. I think this is going to be fantastic.
It definitely is. And yeah, like I said last week, and you just said it now, say whatever you want about Jericho, and we have, and we will, and we'll continue. But he's honestly one of my all-time favorite, which is, but I just have no problem. I'll show him my favorites. Brian's bully. All right, he bullies people backstage. He bullies the Big Show. All right, he bullies Jake Hager.
But we applaud him for that, though.
Yeah,
it's Jake Hager.
Jake Hager should always be bullied.
He yells at the young people for being on their phone backstage. And normally I hate when, people have that mentality, but when, it's someone who puts their money where their mouth is, like Brian, I'll accept that. We'll give him shit, but this is going to be exciting. It's going to be great. And yeah, we know who saw this coming. Like, honestly, it's there. It's always kind of been there because they've always been in this feud for what feels like forever, but it's never just been them interacting. Mm-hmm. So this is
it's a pleasant surprise.
There is one last bit about it that I really did appreciate. They're acknowledging
Jericho.
they're acknowledging that they both want to be the first two-time AEW champion. And I do love that little wrinkle here, because as much as Mox is the interim champion and he's proudly carrying that belt and he earned it, it's not going to be official unless he holds on to it and beats Punk when Punk comes back. And it's going to be a very interesting dynamic because Mox, I personally think Punk is going to beat him. That's my bold prediction. I think Punk is going to beat him, and all this then is technically for nothing, and that's going to add a lot of drama when Mox does drop the title, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And it just means there will be an eventual actual two-time champion. So I'm glad that they threw that in. But Punk won't be a two-time champion. His reign will just continue. That's the thing.
No, I know.
But I mean, who knows? Maybe he will still manage to be two-time champion somehow. But either way, I do like that wrinkle, and it feels like seeds were planted for the future.
Yep. And not really speaking of seeds being planted for the future, but something we're getting in the very near future, apparently, is trios titles.
Yes. Yes.
That was more enthusiasm than
I know.
AEW gave the.
It was so disappointing.
This was the limpest of fucking announcements. Like, this was borderline. I'm more upset than I'm excited, which is shouldn't be the case. But also, there's too many titles, as I think Nas said in our chat about other titles. Not even talking about these new titles that are bringing brought into the fold. But we have trios titles. There's going to be another tournament. Great. Man, AEW is really not ruined, but dampened tournaments in
a little bit
1 year. But that aside, these are going to have some of the best matches in it. We got Iron Lion. AEW caters to a minority fan base. If the product doesn't become more traditional, they won't be on cable TV for long. To a degree, yeah, they need to, appeal to more of an audience, but I do think they do a good job of that. They have a lot of variety. They bring in guys like Sting, and they bring in a guy like Punk to appeal to a wider audience, because Punk is one of the few household recognizable names from the past decade. But I do agree that they do cater a lot to niche audiences, and with stuff like bringing in all these people from other companies and expecting everyone to know who they are. And that I do, but I think that's a real generalization of a valid criticism of the company, Iron Lion. Why is that hard for me to say? I don't know. Iron Lion.
I think that and I wrote this in the comments, but I'll say it out loud too. I think they appeal to everybody, and I think that was their goal when they formed. I feel like I heard that from Kenny or from somebody.
That's probably Cody.
Oh God.
No, Cody said he wanted to appeal to like the sports fans. I feel like it was Kenny who said like we want to be a little bit for everybody. But maybe you are right, and I'm just trying to repress it. But regardless, I prefer a product that feels different as I'm watching it, as opposed to a product that feels uniform from beginning to end. Now, there's a risk with that, because who knows if I'm going to like everything I'm watching. Chances are I'm not. But I'd rather say I'm watching something different and what makes sense for the people involved than to force something to feel, I don't want to say vanilla, but again, I'll stick with uniform. And I think there are guys that really that demonstrate that. Like I mentioned Kenny Omega. Kenny made it a point before he won the title to wrestle lots of different types of matches. We got comedy matches from him. We got tag matches from him. We got death matches from him, or at the very least, extreme matches from him. And you could like any one of those styles and then hate the others, but you're at the very least being exposed to a lot of different things. So when you have those options, and then as Danny so expertly said, you have the mainstream stuff that they are giving you, like throughout all this, we got Mike Tyson, we got Shaq. Yeah. Sting, Jericho, Punk, they are appealing to mainstream audiences. They had a friggin' Game of Thrones themed episode. So they do those things that WWE also does. Like they do appeal to the main audience that might be more casual, but they are not afraid of also rewarding the more hardcore fans or the more niche fans.
Yeah. Very, very well put. And, I just thought it was, I let us get to rant a little bit, because I just noticed this guy's comments, and I thought if they were still here, we can have a quick little discourse with them. But I don't think they're here anymore. I doubt it anyway. So, but I don't know. I don't want to be mean or generalize, because I don't know what this person likes in wrestling, but it's just one of those criticisms that I don't think holds as much water in the world of wrestling, because like they do, like there's such a small wrestling audience as it is, so like what the wrestling audience is shrinking as a whole. So I think it's you could say it's overall criticism of wrestling as opposed to just one specific company. But as far as Nas' question, yes, the top guy is being injured has 100% hindered the product. It is, very, very lacking. It's thrown off a lot of storylines and a lot of things. But
they're bouncing back though.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're bouncing back well.
Time has slowly helped mediate that. But anyway, to get back to the actual show, yeah, we got the tournament announcement. Yeah, cool. And it will be cool. It's not exciting because they weren't excited. So how can we be excited? Kind of thing. We had a cool video package for Ricky Starks, who defended his FTW, which stands for the Wolf, I believe, title against Danhausen. Danhausen got like 3 moves in this match, which is like
we're moving up
more than normal.
Yeah,
we're moving up, boys.
Yeah, Starks won a match and while making his opponent look better than he's ever looked. So that's good. That's good. I bet some of you didn't even know Danhausen could do a Northern Light suplex, because how would you have known? When would you ever have seen him do it? So that's good. And then, of course, Ricky Starks won, but that's fine. No one expected Danhausen to win. It was still just fun. Maybe this is the not mainstream niche Marinade fan base Iron Line was talking about that we like Danhausen. But anyway, Ricky Starks asked for another challenger, and out came Hook. Former Team Taz, current Team Taz. Team Taz isn't a thing anymore, but we'll talk about it. A member comes out and he beats Starks. He makes Starks tap clean. Yes, Starks just had a match that was a little protected. So this was good for everyone. Hook wins the title. He's never been more or less excited. He was pretty much the same as he always is.
He really managed to keep himself level, and I was thoroughly impressed. Like super impressed.
You won your first title, and it was your dad's made-up title, and you're nothing. And that's one of the things that makes it cool. So that's fantastic. Starks gives him a fist bump after the match. Hook didn't initiate it. Starks did. So that's cool. And then Starks gets to cut a promo, and he's cutting a "I'm about to turn babyface" promo, but he was cutting it as a "we're about to turn babyface" promo. And Hobbs was like, no, that's just you. Only you are gonna turn babyface. We are not. And he beat down Starks. And this was honestly the best part of the show. A+. This was fantastic.
I liked it a lot.
Not a single person looked bad. Even Tony Schiavone looked good because he didn't ask a stupid question in a stupid way. He asked about it in a decent way. Not to, again, make a sports reference, but a player got into some shit recently because he gave a reporter fucking smart ass answer because he's getting booed in Philly because Philly fans are harsh on their players when they don't do well. I think it's Nick Castellanos is the player. And then the reporter was like, "Did you hear the boos out there?" And he's like, "No, I lost my hearing, so I didn't hear the boos." Like, and he literally said, "What a stupid question." And the reporter got so mad and defensive, like a little baby, because that is a stupid question. And that's what sometimes wrestling interviewers sound like, "Oh, why did you know that you cheated? Like, what's wrong with you?" Kind of thing. And even Shivani looked good here. And I just thought everyone came out looking great. I'm all here for Ricky Starks' face. Ricky Starks and the Acclaimed are baby faces.
Oh, it's such a good world.
On? What is
such a good world?
This is fantastic. I'm
what
so
a time.
happy about this. Chance, what did you think about all this? It was a lot.
I loved every bit of it. Like you said, everyone looked great. we got to see Danhausen do 3 moves, which I counted 4, but I go 3. That's fine. So that was great. Ricky Starks he's the future. He's just the future, and Hook is undoubtedly the future. It was great. It was great. The whole thing was a good segment. I'm with you. It was best part of the night for me.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. This just made me feel like this episode was special. Like the opening match, I thought was a little flat, but then the promo after, and then this, like, oh my God, this was on its way to being a top tier Dynamite. But we'll get into the rest of it. Honestly, there wasn't much wrong with this. I'm saying it like it wasn't a great episode, but I just loved this. Starks is insane. You can say, and I might say, and especially a week from now, I might feel this way, but you could say that they should have won the tag titles and that Lee and Swerve should be the ones feuding because they're not a real team. But you know what? That's whatever. We'll get into that another time. As right now, in a vacuum, this episode, this was fantastic. Sassy, I just got to assume you were on board with this 100%. What do you got, though?
I very much agree. I think this was the best part of the night. This was the best segment of the night, from the Danhausen match to the Hook match to the betrayal. I did have one issue, and it actually is something you guys felt last week. I felt that this was it felt to me a little unearned at this point. It felt like this was the right direction to go, but it wasn't the right time to do it, or they haven't properly built to it yet.
I disagree.
Well, just let me present the argument, and then I want to hear your take.
Okay, I already disagree, but yeah, go for it.
We have seen strong unity between Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. We've seen it, and there was even a nice little show of it last week when NXT Reject number 17 challenged or physically grabbed Ricky, and then you see Hobbs just nope. He got right up in there defending his guy. I love that little bit last week. I love that he was like, you don't get to touch. I thought that was great. And then to see that turn tonight, I would have rather see a reluctant Hobbs go along for a week or two before he's like, nah, I'm good and this isn't for me. And then he turns on Starks. I am all for the Starks babyface turn. I think it's been a long time coming because you could only deny how popular this guy is and how over this guy has gotten for so long without it feeling contrived. But even the Hook win, I don't know why, from a kayfabe standpoint, I don't know why Ricky Starks would look at Danhausen last week and be like, nah, next week. But then look at Hook and be like, yeah, I could do this right now, when Hook hasn't lost once or looked weak once ever.
Well, because he only fought Danhausen for 1 minute.
but still, I'd be more afraid of Hook and would want that extra week to prepare for him.
So the way I would, sorry, not because I think you're on a roll, and I think you're going to make more points, but just while we're still on this,
go for it.
I think it was actually a natural escalation of last week because last week, he randomly, even Taz on commentary said, I didn't know he was going to do that. That was unexpected. He was just saying shit kind of, and he said something he wasn't planning on saying. He said that. And he was like, "Oh shit, I have to put my money where my mouth is." No, I wasn't serious. We'll do it next week. So then he wins this week, and he's just like, now he's feeling himself more. He's on a roll, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what?" Because he would say, "It's like, oh, I'm serious this week. I'm not messing around this week. I really mean it this week. I'm gonna do it." So he just he was feeling himself so much and so confident that he was like, "Yeah, okay, I can actually do this now. It's totally fine. I can do it. Doesn't matter who it is." And he decided, no matter who it was, he was going to put his money where his mouth is, and it just happened to be Hook.
You are on mute, sir.
You're talking into the void.
My bad. I can't accept that, especially with the babyface turn, because with the face turn, that is a face thing to do, to say, you know what, I can keep going. I can do this all day, as Captain America or as Captain John Cena said. And I can accept that. But even then, Hook challenging for the title was teased, I think, 2 weeks ago with that backstage segment. But beyond that, it's why would he challenge one of his own guys? They didn't tease that he would want the FTW title. They didn't tease any dissension amongst Team Taz. it felt like there was a segment missing somewhere, either with the Powerhouse Hobbs turn or the Hook challenge or a reason for Ricky to feel like to actually just turn face.
It was probably on Rampage.
You know what? That's really a fair point. It honestly is. And I know it sounds like I'm down on this segment, but I'm really not. I really thought this was the best segment of the night from beginning to end. And like you said before, in a vacuum, this is amazing. I thought this was great. And I think this is going to be a great package down the road for Starks or for Hobbs or for Hook. But I am looking forward to an explanation of some sort next week. And I know we're probably not going to get that for Hook, but we will get it with Powerhouse Hobbs. And I think it's necessary.
Okay. I mean, I see what you mean. I think they've done a good enough job subtly telling this. Like, you know, well, Hobbs is I think it's pretty straightforward. He's just sick of losing.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
Ricky is usually the one taking the pins and those. And
Yeah.
this was it. Like him losing a singles match was like that, dude, you can't even are you kidding me? You know, that's so I had no problem with the heel turn and even with Hook coming out because it didn't feel like it felt almost like respectful in
Yeah.
a way.
Right.
Like the fist bump after obviously went a long way in showing that, but you know, he didn't come out like, you know, I don't like you guys anymore. I'm not like, you know, he just came out like, all right, well, if it's here, I'm gonna take this. It's all in the family. So, you know.
Also, I think with the former participant being Danhausen, it made it a little cooler for me because obviously we had Hookhausen at one point in time. So, you know, it made sense. I'm with Danny. I thought it was respectful.
Does Hookhausen exist in any capacity anymore, or did that like end naturally or unnaturally?
I think they're just going to come together from time to time. I don't think they're ever going to like. They're about as legit of a tag team as Swerve in Our Glory.
Swerve in Our Glory. Oh my God, I hate that name. I'm going to say it every week if I can.
So moving on from that, we're not going to talk about this, but I'm going to just talk about it real quick. The Acclaimed had a backstage segment because they're baby faces now too, and we're living in the brightest timeline for one. And it's just fantastic. And they're gonna have a music video on Friday because there's a lot of variety on the show. But you know, we having, and we do sometimes. You know what? When we had a rap battle in WWE, that was nice variety, and that was good. I'm not going to pretend that wasn't also good, but holy shit, how good was that rap battle on Rampage? I didn't watch Rampage, but I watched that rap battle on YouTube, and oh my God, bro, what are Max Caster's politics? Oh my God, bro, he is all over the place, man. The guy will make fun of Joe Biden like every other week, but then
it's not hard. No,
it's not hard. It's actually like, you know, it's shooting fish in a barrel or whatever the saying is. But you know, then I think he had a line where it's like, owning you's the only way I'm owning a gun, you know, kind of thing. And that was really nice. And he said he'll put a shell on him like as a Blastoise. Oh my God, it was amazing. And you know what? Austin Gunn was pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie, he did very well. And I'm spending, not we. You guys haven't said a thing, but we got to move on. I just wanted to put that out there. There's at least reasons to watch Rampage. It's on Friday, you know. But
I want to watch it. I really do. It's hard. It's hard.
I just watch the YouTube clips on Sunday at this point. But up next, we had a pillar versus pillar light match. We had skinny high flyer versus even skinnier but bigger high flyer. Sammy fuckboy Guevara versus Dante wishes he was a fuckboy Martin in a match that was fine to good to almost tame considering the two men that were in it. But in the first 2 minutes of this match, Dante showed more charisma than he has since he joined the fucking roster. Because all he did was make fun of Sammy's poses and trademarks for about 45 seconds before Sammy took control of the match. The match ended with a really bad springboard cutter where Dante folded very uncomfortably.
Yep.
And then got hit with a GTH, which stands for Go to Helens and Say Hi. And yeah, that's that. Then Sky Blue was in Dante's corner. She did nothing. Even when Tay was distracting Dante, she didn't really do anything. And then Anna Jay beat her up after the match because Anna Jay is, I think, good now. I think she has something to do, as we said earlier. So, that was that. Do you have any quick opinions on this? I don't want to spend too much time on this. I don't think it was that important.
I didn't really need this. I love seeing Sammy and Dante both in the ring, but I bypassed it kind of. I didn't need. I think I checked out mentally. It wasn't important for me.
Yeah, it was. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I can say what I'm saying after.
No. It was a good match. It was a fast-paced match, and sometimes you do need those matches for the sake of matches.
Right.
But mentally, this was sort of my little bit of a break on the card, and I feel bad saying that because neither guy did a bad job here. It didn't feel important.
There was no stakes. There was no reason to care.
Yeah,
there was no builds.
Just high flyers, flying.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was just here. Why was this here and not like Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Thunderstorm? This was a special episode. That match has had build. They keep doing this thing with the women's division, and they do this with the men's sometimes too, but it's just been a lot with the women's division lately where you feel like they're building to a match for next week, and then 4 weeks have gone by and the match still hasn't fucking happened. And I don't understand. It's literally in both of the title pictures in the AEW women's division. But anyway, that's all we have to say about that. Nothing wrong with it, just something we didn't need. It didn't feel special on this special episode of Dynamite. But then speaking of not special, we had a Jay Lethal and the rest of the gang promo, and that was that. But moving on to something special. Oh my God. This was exciting. I didn't know how I was going to feel. I was nervous. I was angry. I was scared. I was sad. I was excited. And then it finally happened. The Mets beat the Yankees with a walk-off hit in the ninth inning because we're the best team in New York and we're going to the playoffs. And the Yankees are going to the playoffs too, but who cares? They're the bad guys. Oh, no, sorry. Wrong notes. That's from me and Rose Mets podcast that we're definitely starting. Next up was the return that we're going to hear from Jungle Boy. So Luchasaurus comes out with his mouthpiece, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus still has the black on. He kept it. He kept the skin. He paid for that DLC. He's going to get his money's worth. So he's out there, and you know what? Jungle Boy roasted the shit out of Christian. This was fantastic. This was the most charisma the Jungle Boy has ever shown, ever.
Yes.
To the point, hold on. To the point where he doesn't need Luchasaurus anymore, so Luchasaurus could stay with Christian because Jungle Boy is fine, turns out, on his own. So he brought up Christian's divorce. He said he has a small dick. He called him a pussy. What the fuck? Is that the first time in wrestling history where someone's called someone a pussy?
I don't know, but it was his opening line, which made it great. I liked it.
Bro, the fuck? I didn't know the jungle was in New York. What the fuck? It's the concrete jungle, I guess. I didn't know that's where he was from. Holy shit. It's bro, we hear people call each other pussies all the time. And you can get into a whole philosophical debate about whether that's an outdated, archaic insult. And that's neither here nor there because we're numb to it because we're from New York. So, if you called me a pussy, I wouldn't even flinch or think twice about it. But when someone on wrestling calls someone a pussy, oh my God, that is
it's different.
Unheard of. Yeah, it does. It really does hit different. So this was great. He basically said Luchasaurus was protecting Christian so that Jungle Boy can beat him up. And maybe that's not the best logic or reason or excuse, but this promo was so good that I accepted it. So that's all that really matters. And no matter what Luchasaurus does, he's still a badass monster, and he could turn on Jungle Boy, and I'd be okay with it. He can stay with Jungle Boy, and I'd be willing to see where it goes. And then Christian cut a promo backstage, and there was some odd timing because Christian started talking, but he wasn't up on the screen yet, so Jungle Boy couldn't see or hear him. And that's the typical woes of AEW with audio problems. But Christian was fine. He said he was going to put him in the grave this time. And that's great. All great stuff. I'm excited for this feud again. Jungle Boy did not make it worse by being there, and that's fantastic. I have so much faith that he's going to be okay. So that's 1 for 2, James. Let's see, Chad. How did you feel about this?
Okay, so
yes.
I secretly loved it. I did not want to. However, I let it happen. It's hard not to love when the first line is Christian, you're a pussy. I didn't expect it. It threw me off a little bit, and then from there, the little dick and his wife left him, and I was like, oh shit, it's a promo. Damn, it's a promo. And then I'm with you. The audio was a little rickety, and then we get to Christian, and then Christian delivers as well as best as he can after fucking interrupting Jungle Boy. I'm mad at myself that I'm not mad at this because I feel like Luchasaurus is still maybe getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
however,
he is the third wheel in a singles feud, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
However, damn, it's not that bad, and I hate that I feel that way, but it was good. I'm fucking exciting again. Whatever.
You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward? That's how I feel right now.
That's absolutely what it was.
Well, on that note, we're moving on. That was your time, James. You used it well. No regrets.
Can I just add one detail?
Sure.
Apparently, the divorce is very real. It happened not too recently, and Christian is now seeing somebody from WWE management. Apparently, don't know who. Don't know anything.
The passing of Jungle Boy's father is also real. So.
Oh no! Of course.
This makes the best promos. I think it is what it is.
But there is something amazing about let's be real. Christian is the veteran. If he wanted to say no, I'm shooting that down, he easily could.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
I got to give it to him. He's being very giving in this feud. He could have said that was off the table, and he would have more of an ability to do that than Jungle Boy would with his dad, as fucked up as that is. So I got to give it to Christian for that. And this just has so much intensity, and I'm all for it. And I'm pretty sure they mentioned it. Jungle Boy was wearing the same leather jacket that Christian threw on him. He looked friggin' good wearing it. He looked really good wearing it. And just to make you guys feel a little bit better, I do think after this feud is over, I think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are going to be friends and occasional partners. I would not be shocked if they both start going the singles route, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think they're going to go back for the titles at all. But it's nice that Jungle Boy's wearing the jacket. He's it's what is it, Oedipus? He's got to kill his dad so that only he can love his mom. In this case, the mom is Christian's ex-wife. But anyway, that's
what a tangled web.
That's a whole other can of worms. Who would have thought that Jungle Boy was the third best promo of the four pillars?
I didn't have that on my bingo card.
I guess second best if we're not counting backstage vignettes, actually. So, that's really exciting. All good stuff. And again, like I said earlier with Jericho, Christian was great at receiving promo. So as good as his retaliation was, he didn't outshine Jungle Boy, which he shouldn't have because this is Jungle Boy's return promo anyway.
I'm gonna say this tidbit, and I don't care where it takes me. We are sooner or later going to have to do a fucking 30 for 30 for Christian. I think Christian is one of the most brilliant minds in wrestling. And I've been watching since 97, and just the little small details, he's great, and I think he's always been great. And I just wanted to give appreciation to Christian.
In a world where Edge isn't Edge, Christian would be the Shawn Michaels, and his partner would have been the Marty Jannetty. But Edge just had that like star factor that WWE wanted.
Right.
And I'm not even saying he's better than Christian, because truth be told, I don't know how true that is.
It's pretty close. It's really close.
Yeah, but WWE saw something in Edge that they didn't see in Christian, so they treated Christian like second tier. And even then, he was making magic happen. The stuff with The Rock, the stuff with Goldberg, the stuff that when he partnered and fought Jericho.
Yeah.
He had so much good stuff. But yeah, that's just my little rant on your rant, and I agree. I think Christian is amazing.
I agree. I've always been a Christian guy, that's
a peep.
Fuck. I don't want to take that out of context now, but I've always been I've never been an anti-Christian guy, but religion is dumb. Anyway, moving on. Got nothing to say. There's nothing else on the show. The show's over, guys. We're going home. No, just kidding. We got Bucks and Hangman bumping into each other backstage. It was adorably awkward. A lot of people don't like moody emo, not sure if they're good guys, not sure if they're bad guys, Bucks, but I like that they at least have like their conflicting emotions and aren't just cut and dry, always heels, always like they're dicks, they're obnoxious, but that doesn't mean that they are friends and care about people. They're not one-dimensional heels. So that's nice. And then, the Dark Order, they almost look like they were going to ask Hangman to team with them. The Dark Order came, and that's great. Nice and awkward. Brandon Cutler's fantastic. This was great. I know you guys like this, but I think we should wait till next week when we get maybe more developments on this.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
But this was a great little teaser for what could possibly come. And then, oh my God, we're blowing through this. I don't care what your guys' opinions on this were. We had Tony Nese versus Swerve, Scott Strickland, Shane Douglas, Killshot. And oh man, I'm sorry, it was a handicap match. I forgot Mark Sterling was there, even though he's fantastic and has amazing wrestling attire. But I was just fast forwarding through this. I'm not gonna lie.
He should be with Jade. Next.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All right, that's all we gotta say about that. I guess you recruited someone else, James. Who was the person that you recruited? The big guy that took out Keith Lee backstage?
Something Buck, I think.
Josh Woods.
Josh Woods. Okay, yeah.
All right, cool. That sounds like a real person. I believe you. Yeah, so that's that. And then we are gonna treat this with about as much respect as Tony Khan. We have the women's championship match between one half of the most popular team in all of wrestling, Thunderstorm, versus Miyu Yamashita. Am I saying that right? Cool. Thank you, James, who was definitely Japanese for that pronunciation. And you know what? I will say there was a spot I really liked in this match where Thunder Rosa was going for, the roll through to go for a roll up, but Miyu just turned that into a very nice German. And I thought
that was amazing.
A really, really good spot. But like I said with the opening match, I couldn't buy into any near falls. I couldn't buy into a title switch. And although I appreciate the sentiment of having a win outside of the main show matter and set up a title feud, I wish they did it with any other division but the women's, because
that's fair.
It doesn't feel brave. It almost feels demeaning with the women, whereas if you did it with a stronger division, like how they booked the men's, it would feel like a bigger deal. But the match was good. It was only like 10 minutes because, of course, only like 10 minutes because you needed to have that Dante and fucking Sammy match on here, of course. But do you guys have any quick comments about this match?
The entire time I thought to myself, I really need to start and finish season 4 of Haikyuu.
Oh my God, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
that was really all I had for this. I was like, damn, I'm missing season 4. I got to watch that. Absolutely. Other than that, I'm with you. It was a good match, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're treating. See, that's a double-edged sword. I don't think they're treating Thunder Rosa fairly, but then I hear her on the mic and I think they are treating her fairly, which I hate. So I really don't know. They need something fresh with her. Possibly losing the title, but I don't know. They have to do something. I'm not interested anymore. And this is not an interim title. This is the main title. So they have to do something and kind of quick.
It does kind of. I agree. It does kind of feel like there's like that. Every champion hits that point in their title reign where you start to hear the countdown clock ticking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like with Britt Baker, we heard it ticking at a certain point, and some might say that it was ticking for too long. But I already think I'm hearing that ticking clock with Thunder, and I feel bad. Like we've talked about it already multiple times. You know, we like Thunder, but this reign really isn't working. But there was a moment where I was like, maybe they will do it, because it's for the same reason Danny said. I think that they are way more adventurous with the diva. Oh my god, the divas, the women's. I mean, that's how the division is being treated. If we're
absolutely
being honest. The misogynist.
I'm just being sarcastic. You're absolutely right.
No, I noticed that. I can't believe I slipped like that. But they are way more experimental with the women's division, because I don't think they care about it as much. They don't treat it as well. So there was that moment where I thought maybe it could happen, but I wasn't shocked that Thunder retained. And it's weird because like I'm really into her challenger now. Like I was very impressed, but I don't think they're bringing her back anytime soon. So it's almost like, what was the point of all this? And other than a good match,
I think, and this goes across the board, I think they've kind of ruined the appeal of stars coming over from other companies, and I think they need to just go back to worrying about the talent they have and pushing them.
Until another company guy wins.
Yes, that's the thing.
I think that needs to happen.
I'm all for talent popping up, but you actually need it to matter. You need it to matter. Like I'm going back months now, but when we were doing the Wardlow like fight, like the Wardlow's like his steps to facing MJF,
mm-hmm.
and that night they brought in W. Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass. I know that nobody really cares about Impact, but Impact had spent a good amount of time building W. Morrissey up to look like a monster.
Yeah.
He was just incredible in Impact. And when he got the call to AEW for Dynamite for that match with Wardlow, I was super excited. Confused, but excited. And then he lost, and it wasn't a memorable match, really. It wasn't anything amazing. Like, it wasn't a squash, but it wasn't a big grand match. So it hurts the other company now, because they spent all this time making this guy feel big to then just have him get demolished. So I'm not against these guys coming in I still love it. It's still exciting to me, but there needs to be weight to it. Somebody needs to win at some point. Suzuki shouldn't lose every AEW match he has.
Right.
Not every they need to bring in a challenger who it's like, oh shit, they could win that. Oh my god, they did win that. I need that at least once or twice, occasionally, and hopefully they do that eventually.
I mean, I agree, but I think I just am not excited anymore. It's hit way past diminishing returns. I think it worked best when Cody was doing the open challenge, honestly.
I agree.
I think we're way past that. I think we need to lay off for a while before it could feel special again. Because now, if someone does win, I'm gonna feel like, fuck that, man. Like, push the people that are there. I'm at that point where I don't want the outsiders coming in. I need the brakes to be hit. But that being said, none of that matters, because Iron Lion, who's probably not with us anymore. Rest in peace, or just playing all cards. But that the company is not gonna go out because they're not appealing to a mainstream enough audience or they don't have enough variety. They're going out of business because Vince quit WWE and that's it. Triple H is in charge. Everyone's going back. AEW is going under, guys. It's just not the way we thought it would be. Vince kamikazed himself so that they could win the war. He took himself out to take out AEW with him. What a hero.
How
Please
selfless.
subscribe to our YouTube.
All I'm saying is Tony Khan already beat Triple H once.
Yeah, well, tell that to Bray Wyatt and Johnny Gargano. We're going to go back. Tell that to MJF, who's out of there. Tell that to Cody Rhodes, who was on the winning team and now will still be on the winning team. Anyway, subscribe to our YouTube, guys. James is going to rap soon and dye his beard. And that's that. You don't need a long outro.